Andy. You are ready.
I'm usually the last one.
No, you're first one today.
Yeah.
Okay, here we are. We are ZBA meeting. We have one applicant for an area variance at 32 Gouverneur Street, Stewart's. Let's go ahead and we'll introduce ourselves around. We'll come to you last, just so you know everyone else in the room. I'm Conrad Stunts. I'm the chair of the Village Planning Board.
Hey, Andy Whittier, I'm the alternate tonight.
Pete Beekman, Tim Nolan, Code Enforcement Officer.
Katie Gollinger. I'm Jenny Reed, I'm the recording secretary.
And I'm Steve Scaparo. I'm representing Stewart Shop.
Sweet, awesome. All right, Steve. The way the meetings normally run here is I'll ask. I always forget to ask you Tim first. Tim normally. I asked Tim first to tell us what he denied. Okay, and then I allow you to talk through like why he should have denied it, what the appeal is. Okay, and then we go to public comment because this is officially a public hearing, and so we hear all the input from the audience. Okay, so we dive deep into that for a little bit, and then we come out of the weeds, and then we ask you more questions and talk through things and see where things are.
Sure.
Okay. All right. Sweet. All right. So, Tim, tell us what's going on here.
4/11/25, I denied the applicant, Stewart Shops, for an addition to a new walk-in freezer. And it was because it was in non-conformance with the Village of Canton lot development standard 325. Attachment 2 general mixed use zoning district. Principal use required setbacks rear minimum 30 feet for residential use or 50 feet for non-residential use. So on both residential and non-residential, it's
So this is,
in non-conformance with this code section
okay. And this is a GMU.
and the GMU.
This is GMU. Okay.
General mixed use district.
Okay. And our rear minimums are 50 feet non-residential. Okay.
Yes.
All right. And the proposed setback, Tim, was what do you see on that one? On that
1 foot.
1 foot. Okay, so the 49-foot variance. Okay. Okay. All right. Great. All right. Great. All right, Steve, tell us about the project a little bit.
Well, what we're proposing is 149 square foot exterior walk-in freezer.
Mhm.
We currently have a freezer in the store that's tied adjacent to the existing cooler. And things have changed through the years, and the two being so close together, creating condensation and then hence creating mold, which is becoming an ag and market issue for us.
Okay.
Continuously cleaning and condensation on the floor, becoming a trip hazard, and those types of things. So as we grow as a company and as our stores grow to have more product for the customers, we also find the need to have a bigger freezer to handle more product. So this is our only way at this particular store that we feel is best for us to make that happen.
Okay. All right, cool. All righty. Any public comment? I did not receive any emails from anyone with any sort of comment or thoughts from the neighbors. You don't have very vibrant neighbors there. We were more likely to send something. You do have a bunch of residential right behind there, big residential right behind there. Yeah, any public comment? Yeah. Okay, all right. Well, that closes the public comment section of the meeting. Now I'll move on to the meeting. So basically what we have, that's the public hearing part, which we officially have to hold by law. Okay, and then we have a ZBA meeting where we ask you questions, go through things and stuff like that. Okay, and then we have by law, the ZBA is 5 days or so to come up with a decision. Okay, so even if we vote on something tonight, it's not finalized till the decision's written, taken care of. Okay.
Sure.
And basically we roll from there. Okay. The other thing is, I'm sure on the applications, basically there are state laws about variances. Have you done variances before?
I'm actually representing the company. I'm the builder, project manager.
Yeah.
Our typical real estate team usually comes out here, but because I deem this my territory, and
You're
my
here.
daughter went to St. Lawrence,
Yeah.
here I am.
Here you are.
Yeah.
Sweet.
So I don't typically attend these meetings, but I am representing.
Yeah, cool.
But I'm the one who's gonna be doing the project.
Yeah, sweet. Yeah, so let me talk you through the variance of the process itself, okay?
Sure.
'Cause if you haven't done one before, basically, New York State has a bunch of protocols that we have to meet, right? We have like 5 tests that we talk through. And so every ZBA board in New York State goes through these 5 tests and we have to approve or deny. We talk through each one, right? About basically what, and then as a board, we vote on things. In an area variance situation, we talk through, but none of them are necessarily binding. Like we can be like, no, it's totally not working, but we're not beholden by that one item. A use variance is a little different, okay? So, but the area variance, basically, we definitely have to, we address all 5 of these as part of the conversation. And these are on the application itself, okay? And so the questions that we're gonna tailor are focused on that sort of thing, okay? And the zoning board of appeals, basically, as you know, basically, the applicant is asking for a variance to zoning laws, right? And so the zoning board of appeals role is to analyze that and then come up with possible solutions if there are feasible solutions from the village's perspective. Okay. So that's kind of, any questions about that?
Nope.
Okay, sweet. Awesome. All right, so let's guys, let's go ahead and just talk through some of the stuff and then we'll go through the tests. How about that? Right. All right, so any questions anyone else wants, anyone want to start with questions or you guys want me to start?
You can start.
I'll add something.
Yeah.
So
Mhm.
off of the, I don't know where.
That side.
Back, this would be back
Back right side.
right side. I mean, we looked at doing it out that area, but that's where our power is. That's where our existing condensing units are for the freezer. Relocating that power, is a costly, task. And then we also have a microcell tower on the roof that comes into play. So.
Does that microcell tower play into that that box in the corner there?
This one,
No,
this is that equipment, but the power, relocating that power also comes into, play with that as
Yeah,
well.
okay.
I mean, during the process, that whole, the cell tower would be shut down
Oh, yeah.
and,
Yeah.
so
Fair
you
enough.
know.
Yeah.
it may affect some of you, but this became the most cost effective. And, putting it out off that back right side would mean our partners would have to walk through the whole back room, which is really across the Stewarts, into the cooler, and then out to the back, where now they just walk into the back room directly into the freezer. So it's less steps for them too,
Yeah. Okay.
just to be more efficient in the store.
All right. And these 2 boxes on the drawings in the back right corner, are those the current compressors for the current freezer?
Which one are you showing?
These ones.
Yeah, these are the condensing units.
Would those go away?
One of these is for the cooler and one is for the freezer. One would come over to somewhere's on this side, to the right of the green box.
Okay. So it's not the condenser unit would still be exterior to the green box.
Correct.
Will the interior freezer, does that disappear or are you gonna still use it?
We're gonna expand we're gonna add to the cooler to give more, hence more cooler product. Yeah.
Okay. Cool. All right. And the green box, how much do you cut into the overhang? Do you basically just doing a shared wall on the overhang or are you cutting into the overhang a little bit?
Yeah, it's cutting into it. I would say approximately 6 or 7 feet. We're gonna leave the overhang. So the front half is, just open.
Yeah.
Shelter. So there will be, part of the overhang, most of the overhang will still be there. It'll
Okay.
butt up against the cooler,
Okay.
freezer.
Yeah,
excuse me.
I couldn't tell, basically from the drawing, I couldn't tell if the overhang was just gonna be a straight butt or if
Yeah,
you're cutting
he
into
could
it.
have, our drafter could have,
Oh, that's what I mean.
outlined it
Yeah,
where it
but
was.
That's no big deal. That's just kind of like where how things gonna lay out, right?
Alright.
Okay. All right. So the thing that I drew is number 2 on that diagram.
These are
Is
what we would call barred units. There are heating and air conditioning units.
that current one is under the green box, right?
That current one
be-
is in that area that we're just gonna slide to the right. Well, looking down at it to the right.
So on the image in the back, basically, there's one that's right. This is the one here, you can see.
Yeah.
And that's this one, right? And then just the right of the overhang, there's another one tucked in there that you can't see right now.
Okay.
So that, and now we're just basically move over towards, so I have an image
It's
here.
probably gonna move about 4 or 5 feet
It's gonna-
roughly.
Yeah, so it's not buried by the building.
Yeah, we're just gonna change the
Right.
ductwork inside and then frame a new opening on the outside.
Okay, cool. All right,
And then obviously there will be a door opening to get into this.
Yeah. Yeah.
And in that particular space, that's the only area where we could, cause this whole area here is all electrical. And then, on this side over here is all gas conduits. So,
yeah, you tell you pack
so-
building.
so,
Yeah.
yeah,
Trying to bring it up, maybe that'll help.
if
But
you
it's
can
really
zoom it.
small.
But to the left of the green box is all of our electrical panels and our alarm system. So a door can't go there. So currently it would be allowed a door right where that green box is. It's the only spot in that whole back wall.
Awesome. All right. All right. Cool. Now. I just said that, I'm getting a feel for what's going on there. Other questions? Start with.
Does the dumpster that's back there get moved to some other location?
Basically hanging out right in this space here.
Yeah, I mean, it would probably go right right in front of that freezer. I mean, basically in the same area, just not twisted or there, cause that's not gonna be in the way of what we're proposing.
Right. Have a dead space back in its own.
Yeah, that'll stay there.
So that image does have the gas pump on it, Andy.
Yeah,
On top of it. You see the kerosene pump there. Okay.
that won't be impacted in the.
Doesn't look-
No.
Doesn't look like it. It looks like, my guess is the Cassell's dumpster is kind of where Cassell would like to put their dumpster.
I think put it where they can get to easily. I'm
Where
sure.
the truck comes in and out of.
Yeah. I just know if it would impact deliveries, if the deliveries are coming in that back entrance.
Is that freezer?
No,
exterior?
it's
All
it's
interior?
built from the inside.
Just, okay.
They'll go in the delivery door, which is. Well, on my paper, it'd be easier, but the delivery door is, right in this corner, the left,
Oh,
back
like that.
left.
By the
Right, yeah,
dumpster.
right there, the door to get in, so they'll go in there and then into the back room.
Mm-hmm.
Is how they'll do that.
Okay.
I also had some decibel levels for the condensing units. I know that was raised, but
Question, yep.
so we have an ultra quiet unit, that we're available to use. I mean, one of them is 55 decibels. So, and, a whisper is 40 decibels. So I mean, it's below, it's lower than normal conversations.
So this is the one you're planning on using?
This is what's inside and then this is what would be outside. So outside is a 76 decibels, but this is just the unit sitting there. It's not encompassed in the insulated box.
Right.
So the
exterior.
decibels will go down with that,
Why?
because it'll be inside of a
Oh,
box.
it's in that box.
I'm
Okay.
saying,
Yeah,
if it was
okay.
sitting on the table, it would be running at
Yeah, yeah.
76 decibels.
Right.
When we put it inside the actual condensing unit box, which is insulated, it'll be
Yeah,
quieter.
that's going inside the green
So-
box?
No, that's what we drew on the outside here. This one of these goes away and one goes here.
Okay, because those right now are completely unshielded.
Yes,
The current ones are unshielded.
parts of them are unshielded, correct,
All right, just making sure. All right, so it would actually be a shielded box.
yes,
Okay. All right,
yeah.
all right.
Is the new one quieter, I assume, then? I mean, it's.
The new ones are quieter. I mean, this is the cut sheets on everything that we are proposing. And these are the
assume
levels
what's
again.
Louder than that?
I've assumed,
Just by virtue of being older and the fact it's not.
I mean, even
hope so.
if these were fully the sound levels, I mean, it's at a 76. When a normal conversation is at 65 decibels, so it's not like a compressor or a generator running, you really don't hear it unless you're sitting upon it. You must have been back there.
Oh, I walked around it.
Had to be running,
It was running.
and
Yeah.
it's not where you can't have a conversation over it
No, I know.
while you're sitting next to it.
Yeah,
so.
no. the thing is that that's what we look at though, right? We look at neighborhood impact and that sort of thing. So that's why we ask those questions, because, when we're starting to look at like all of the aspects, that's what we look at.
Yeah.
That's why. we asked.
Understood.
No, because I was back then, the two of them were kicked on and off, and I was like, oh, unshielded. Huh.
Yeah.
And it looked like one of those deals where, someone got into it once, and it's like, I need better airflow, and walked off with the shield,
Oh, well, yeah.
No, it's like, I mean, it was, I was like, okay, what, we've been there, it's fine, it happens, but I was curious. All right, okay, now, another question I have about this is talk to me about mechanical access to get to those back pieces once you put things in that go within a foot of the fence line.
Well, I mean, once these units are in, I mean, they come up, they're in pieces, so like the other thing too is my condensing unit doesn't have to go back here in this corner.
Nope.
I mean, I can put it here.
Right.
So for accessibility, and I can also put it on the roof of the freezer if I choose to,
Okay,
or if you deem it.
all right, so the condensing unit can move to other locations,
But this is a walkable, I mean, we stepped over this, I mean, it's like a walkable grate for that unit. I mean, I've been around that, multiple times for many reasons. So as far as accessing our barred unit, for repairs or maintenance, it's accessible from here.
the barred unit, tell me, explain that a little more, what a barred unit is again.
A barred unit is our heating and air conditioning unit. They're all electric. And we basically don't use heat very much because our equipment inside the store heats it. So it's basically, we run air conditioning almost year round.
Okay.
Well, maybe not up here.
Yeah.
This is another world up here.
It is, as you know. Okay. All right, cool.
There's no access to the fence.
There's no access to the fence. It's a full 4-foot chain link fence running across the back of the property. In order to get around that corner, you have to walk over the metal grate.
Did you walk
I did walk that.
between the back corner and the?
Back corner, and I walked between the building and the fence.
I took pictures, but I didn't actually get out of the
No,
car.
as Steve said, you can walk it. I mean,
It's a step up and then a step down, but you can definitely access it.
Okay, so but you'd have to bring in things on pieces. You couldn't do you couldn't do a delivery of a pallet or anything like that for any of that mechanical work back there. Right, so you have to hand carry everything in there for any sort of maintenance or change. Okay, so you have that whole unit, which is that whole radio unit, this guy here. Okay, which you could not unless you fully disassemble it to
No, that's not being touched.
not being touched, but
No.
any maintenance down
5 years from now.
any maintenance down the road would.
I mean, the impact of having the condensing unit, for this property is better on this side. If we're looking at noise and then accessibility for us, but like I said, I also have the option to set it on the roof.
Yep, now condensing unit can move around. It's the things we can't move that create a little more issue for maintenance, movement, and to be honest with you, I mean, fire. You can't get a hose back into that space with much ease. 1 foot clearance, I mean, so right now you have full access to the back area for any sort of concern. And that would be a pinch point for anything for managing anything in that zone. And that's a concern that I would have, but we can talk through that a little more.
One of this? No, I'm sorry. I got it.
Yeah. You guys want to have 3 questions right now? You want to move on to the 4 points that. You good?
Yeah.
All right. Steve, we're gonna start talking about these 4 points, and we'll just address questions to you as we go through. If things come up, alrighty?
Sure.
All right, so the test number 1, basically, the first test that we have, this sort of thing, basically, is whether an undesirable change will be produced in the character of the neighborhood or a detriment to nearby properties. Okay? This is where we look at the neighborhood and think about like what this change does. Like, what is the variance of adding 49, whatever this is, 149 square feet onto the back of this building does to this neighborhood, basically. the character, or does it impact the things behind it? So behind the property, guys, we have, is that part of Law Lane or is that?
Yeah.
Part of Law Lane, not a lot of usage out on their exterior space. They're looking at back at Stewart's right now. I'm not sure it changes the feel of the neighbors back behind in terms of what they're looking at. I think they're just looking at another bump out for Stewart's. Right?
Mhm.
Um, character, what do you guys think? Just to refresh, guys, we have character, we have feasible alternatives, right? We have it's substantial, and we have physical environmental conditions and self-created. Those are 5. Okay. So 5 here. Okay. So basically, undesirable change in the character of the neighborhood.
I don't think so.
Yeah, I don't feel any, yeah, not really. No. Okay. I mean, to be honest, in the back of the buildings are, it looks like a hodgepodge of bump outs already, so. I don't think it changes with the look and feel from that space. Yeah.
Kerosene thing, you got the dumpster, you got the bump out,
Hey, you have
you got
the,
some mechanical items back there
Yeah.
already.
right, steel columns, you have the micro antenna, you got it all going on.
Mhm.
Quick questions, if your micro antenna is leased to Verizon, or is it you guys?
Yeah, they lease to us. You know, they pay us a yearly fee.
Um,
And I can tell you, it's not worth anything. I mean, it's such a small fee, it's more of a.
Yeah.
Difficulty for us to work on the building, work on the roof or stuff like that. All has to be shut down just to get on the roof.
oh, really?
Yeah,
Oh, that's annoying. You don't happen to know if they have requirements for clearance to get to their equipment, do you, in their lease?
I don't think, I mean, I work with them quite a bit on
Yeah.
multiple
Yeah.
stores and just built a new store in Frankfurt with the tower and no, it's there's no,
There's nothing about like, we need.
yeah, I
we
mean,
X-
they
expedite.
need that only, that their area back in
Yeah.
that corner.
They have that area, but they don't say we need a driveway accessible
No,
to it or anything like that in
no.
their leases. Okay, their leases basically just need the pad site basically, or the great.
Yeah,
site.
the guy just walks around and just does, minimal maintenance on it.
Yeah, right, okay, all right. Cool. Okay,
I didn't know it was there, that's something new.
yeah, there we go. There's our cell phone right there. That's Verizon, so I don't use that. I won't notice.
I do.
Yeah, most people
I'll
do.
be happy.
Up here, you'll be okay with it, stays connected.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's my
Uh,
vote.
All right, whether the benefits sought by the applicant can be achieved by a feasible alternative to the variance. Okay. The applicant said other options would also require a variance. That was the argument for why we should follow that one.
In additional expense, right? We talked about if it went off the other side,
If
it'd
you
be
want
more expensive because you have to move electrical.
Correct.
And it would still require a variance.
it require variance for the side setback, right? Or rear line
Yeah.
setback. It still requires a variance, have to move electrical.
It's less than a foot, I guess, but it would still be a variance.
Right.
And
And it changes the workflow for it changes the interior design.
Yeah, just based on looking at drawing. With everything else we've discussed, it seems like that's the logical place to put it.
What's in the bump out right now?
What's in the overhang?
Yeah.
Just salt from the winter,
Storage shed?
yeah, storage shed, there might be a snow blower in there.
Is this unit, can it turn 90 degrees?
Could it turn, well, then
Lose your shed.
We lose the shed.
I mean.
Yeah, I mean, could it? I guess the short answer is yes, it could be turned.
Like you don't have to have a door here. You can have a door on the long side.
I can have a door on the long side, yes. We tried to not lose the shed,
Well, no, fair.
obviously for,
Yeah,
for
Fair. Good
obvious
cost and
reasons.
et cetera reasons. Yeah, no, totally.
Sure. You know, they store like, the milk crates go in there and the totes, so when the delivery driver comes, he picks up the empty totes that are not filled with snow and or water,
Mhm.
that kind of thing.
Tim, do the dimensions on that bump out?
Oh, like,
What, for the variant, for the build that they had in 2016 on that? What were the dimensions?
oh yeah, I'll get that for you.
Thank you. You don't have that in the top of your head, do you?
Yeah, I mean, it's, we're gonna be roughly like 7, 9 by 20 or somewhere's in there.
I mean, it's about the same size as what you're looking at for the new walk-in freezer.
Oh, what's the bump out of the existing bump out?
Just no,
It's, it's definitely 7 feet by, it's almost matching what's
I
there.
have plans for the new proposed. Maybe we shouldn't look at that, I'll have fun with it.
No, so I mean, I don't know, I mean, I just wanna know what size that is.
Oh, I'll get that too.
Yeah.
I'll leave that out for you.
But it's, I know it's 7 feet wide-ish,
Okay.
you know, maybe 16 feet long.
Right.
So a little smaller than what we're proposing,
Yeah.
that size.
Oh, here it is. So it's 8 by 17 overhang. Is that what we're talking about?
Yep. And the addition, you said was 7, 9 by 20, ish.
Yeah, I mean, 149, it's not quite 8 by 20.
Yeah, exactly. So it's right about that 8 by 7.
You, whatever numbers you wanna make work for 149 works for me.
All right, thanks.
I mean, it's probably like
2
19,
by 75.
it's probably
Okay.
19 feet 4 by, you know,
Yeah,
whatever.
yeah, what, yeah, no, that's, yeah,
Oh, here it is, one more detail.
okay. Okay. I mean, looking at the site plan, I don't, like,
Here's the former.
that's the former, this is the application for 2016, that was the.
Okay,
original.
yeah.
Yeah, so that's the shed.
Yeah, 8 by 17.
Anybody else wanna look at that? That was in,
Oh, yeah, cool.
This was for the bump out overhang.
Yeah,
correct?
the bump out in 2016.
Yep.
Okay, so electrical is over here, right?
Uh,
It was like
It-
panels and like.
yeah, that-
Gas line and.
yeah, right in that right-hand corner, right where your pencil is in there.
Yeah, pane, okay. Going this way, then you have your compressor, one of these guys goes away, condensing unit, sorry, one condensing unit goes away, the other one stays on the, bigger condensing unit to.
They are condensing unit.
Bigger, are you gonna have to
Oh,
put a bigger one in
it'll
for
be 3
the-
horsepower, very similar.
Okay.
It'll
And,
be, you know, those are older, so it'll be a newer, efficient,
Yeah,
quieter
and a lot.
version.
and when you increase the size of your interior walk-in, do you have to up your size of your condenser?
That's why I said it'll go to like a 3 horsepower.
Oh, okay.
Those are probably 2.
Oh, okay, cool. Probably already answered that question. And this is the micro antenna. This is our HVAC. This is that's our door in, that's our delivery door. Okay. All right, so feasible alternatives.
No, I'm good.
Our feasible alternative was to buy the hotel and you know,
On the
across the
corner, yeah,
river
yeah.
and the house, but it didn't, not working out at the moment.
Oh, really? Yeah. That would be.
But that's why we're, you know,
Yeah.
we have to grow with this store and this is how we can do it now.
So that'd be.
I mean,
a
we're
lot of
always,
location for you guys, wouldn't it?
it would be a good location with the house though,
Oh.
not just a hotel. We'd have to have the corner.
Oh, okay, yeah.
You have both properties.
And we'd have to have it out on that street and then on 11 as well.
Yeah.
Oh, cause the drive-throughs, yeah. Oh, I see. Yep.
Our new stores are just,
They're
well,
bigger.
I built Gouverneurs and Potsdam, so
Oh, yeah.
those are, you know, those are versions of, and those are smaller than we're building today. We're building bigger ones.
Mhm. So this is a teeny little thing.
What's that?
This one's a teeny thing.
Oh, this one? Yeah, it's old.
This is.
Yeah.
The other one too, at the other end.
Yeah.
Yeah. That one wants to grow as well, but we're pretty locked there as well.
There's no room.
Both of them are landlocked. Yeah. Okay.
Sorry about the hotel, that would have been a good option.
Yeah.
I would have approved that for sure.
Yeah, no kidding. The heartbeat.
Parking.
There's a lot
bigger
down the
store.
road that just is in the midst of demolition. It used to be the old, I don't know, that was Tawny, it's been everything, the Quonset hut.
Oh, yeah, yeah. Out
That
of Gouverneur
roof
Street.
collapsed over the winter.
Yeah,
Right on Main?
On
no,
Gouverneur Street.
Governor, right down
Oh.
from your store on Governor.
Oh,
Street.
okay.
Like if you went
Right
out,
before the underpass.
Yeah.
The Overpass.
Yeah.
Underpass.
Gotcha.
that,
Yeah,
Depends on which way you're going.
it's nice to be in the, I mean, like the four corners up here. Where am I?
yeah, that's
The four corners,
lots of action.
yeah, I mean, we like to hit all angles there, but, going farther out of town makes it even
Yeah,
not as desirable.
Nope.
You get them coming in, but you probably won't get them going.
Yeah.
There's something about the like convenience stores that are on a highway. When you're going 55, you don't tend to stop until you come to a town and you're going slower, that you draw into it. As opposed to, you're moving down the highway, you don't think about stopping. Some mental thing, but
Yeah.
there's truth to it.
Yeah.
But that site at the other end of Gouverneur, the speed limit doesn't increase until you go underneath that. I don't think it increases after the edge of town where you get past the old movie theater.
Yeah.
yeah, well, I think it goes to 45.
I think it goes to 45, right about that same spot.
Yeah, yeah, right after you go into the bridge.
Yeah.
Or the.
I
So,
think even 45.
I'm
Yeah,
thinking,
Just before that.
I'm
Just before you
yeah.
stop.
thinking that planning the next site for Stewart's is not a feasible alternative.
Everyone
has ideas,
though.
Wait, I work for economic development in my other job, so come see us.
Yeah. That's what you have-
I'll let real estate know about that building.
But that's, that's really their own else. I
Yeah.
mean, there's so many
Okay. So,
back violations existing.
yeah. So. All right. What's your current freezer size shape or square footage of freezer? You know?
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah, I do. It's on my.
it's 8 feet wide. Maybe 14 feet. So, we're almost doubling the size. I mean, that's just a guess, but I mean, I know where it is. Definitely 8 wide. Maybe 16,
Yeah,
but I don't think it's that big.
right. Because the ones that, yeah,
I think it's more like
Eight.
14 or,
okay. So, yeah, so it's almost doubled. It's
yeah,
it's
definitely,
significant increase for you guys.
definitely bigger.
And that's
This
the
one's
goal.
definitely
Like, I
adding
mean, that's
more
the goal.
square feet.
Mhm.
And
Okay.
they get stocked from floor to ceiling. I mean, it's basically ice cream,
Yeah.
just shows that whole thing.
Do you have to change do you have a generator on site for those backups for that? Do you have to change that with this additional?
Well,
space?
every store is, backup, generator backup,
Yeah, okay.
so
All right, so it doesn't
I
change.
wouldn't change anything.
Yeah, okay, cool.
Some have 60 amp disconnects, some have full,
Yeah.
Transfer switches.
Yep, okay.
I don't know if there's one on that store.
Feasible alternatives are funky because they often require more money than anyone would like to spend on things. But does not mean that they are not feasible, according to our general guidelines. So feasibility is basically you're looking for a solution that does not require a variance or as big of a variance. So this is kind of a thought. Me personally, I understand that the moving of the gas, the electric over here was less prohibitive. I'm not sure that changing a shed location, or the way we handle our milk crates and our salt it might be a feasible solution to look at in terms of price points, in terms of variances. If that does turn 90 degrees, it maintains the same setback that we have existing, right? Because it follows the same line. And that
As
way,
as the existing overhang
Right.
shed, okay.
So,
Fit it,
it basically,
90 degrees, you can fit in that.
and so the question is, could it go 90 degrees, moving this HVAC unit in the shed to like something else on the property? Is there a feasible solution? That's. Without changing the variance, that's. You know. If the shed is the. If the shed is not. You know, if it's cheaper to move the shed. Than to move anything else, is there a suitable
Is
location?
the shed right now only accessible from the exterior?
Correct.
Okay,
It's just straight overhang
yeah.
with a door on it
Mhm.
and. No filter. It's yeah,
Yeah,
There are some factors though, moving that is if I move this.
Yeah.
Barred unit too much, I don't have a place to put it, being I have a door.
Yep.
And then gas conduits.
Yep.
Cause the gas conduits, there's a electrical trough
Mhm.
right there, and then all the conduits go down and then out to the pumps. And the tanks, so
Yeah,
I can't slide that,
you can't move that bar.
I can't move that towards the electrical door.
Mhm.
But a little, so, you know, to put the same size
Could the-
freezer I already have up.
Right.
Doesn't make any sense if I had to shorten it because I can't move that bar.
Right. Could that barn slide to the other side?
Well, this is all cooler.
No.
Well, there's
Don't-
already one here.
Right.
That's not circulating my store properly.
Okay. Alright.
And two heat sources or cooling sources will make it cold here and not,
Yeah, I didn't know if it
Cool
was
there.
zone based or I didn't know if you had.
they're just, you know, based on location. I mean, they're not in
Location based.
zones.
Okay.
You know, but there's air movement, you know, they pull air in from this area and pull it from this area, but to have two here would make this area extremely cooler or hotter,
Mhm.
depending on what
Yeah.
you're doing.
Oh, yeah.
You'd be calling for heat here, but it'd be very hot over here.
Right. Okay. All right, you guys wanna hold on two, continue on two? Feasible alternative. What do you think?
I mean, it doesn't really seem to me like it's feasible. It's like even if you move this and you wanna move the shed, then you're doing like
Mm-hmm.
moving this, to move this, to move that, to move that, when you could just have that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
yeah, I just think that. Short of finding another location, it's really constrained with. Just the orientation of the building now and all the other things that are going on there.
Mm-hmm.
That, you know, to do what you just suggested, you know, again, would require a lot of moving things around. When we already have the building itself, must have gotten earlier variances, cause it's not meeting I think it looks like to me on three sides, not meeting the setback, any of the
How
setback.
far back to our variances go in your database?
1986.
Do the variance from 2000 for the build of the site?
Hmm?
Can you access real fast to see if there's a variance from 2000 on your setback on this building?
I didn't see anything real quick.
Okay, that's right, you
scanning
did
the
look.
Whole thing, but let me look again. I'm sorry, 83. I did not see this property though anywhere.
Okay.
20 Gouverneur Street, but that's an 84.
We haven't talked about that one yet.
32, nope, that's 32. This is 23, right?
That's 32.
Oh, this
32?
is 32. That was an 88 though. An area variance. 88, that's,
And I've been searched the first site before they renovated it.
okay. There was an area variance, but I have no record beyond that.
That's probably what it is.
Yeah,
That was, I think, in 88.
yeah,
That was the
that was when
only,
it was built.
Yeah. It's
Yep.
built in 88, renovated in 2000, and then
Okay.
overhang in 2016.
Okay,
but there was no additional variance. That was the only variance ever granted for that property,
Yeah, makes sense.
was the
That's-
one in 88.
Yeah, it was built and it was the 1 foot setback or exceeding setbacks, okay. Okay. Whether the variance is substantial. Okay, there is an existing area variance of building 1 foot from the rear property line was the applicant's rationale on whether the area variance is not substantial. What is substantial? Is 49 out of 50 feet substantial? Variance is like, the argument is like, my impression is the argument is like, it's already within 1 foot of the back setback line, so what's the big deal if there's another point where it's 1 foot from the setback line?
Yeah.
That's kind of what I'm reading as the argument. So. I don't know. Mhm.
I had a question for you, Jenny.
Yeah.
That variance in 88, was that for Stewart shops or was it for Alaskan, what is it called, Alaskan Oil Company?
That I would have to pull the actual documents and they're in the clerk's office. I don't have the
Before
actual.
it was Stewart's, it was Alaskan Oil Company back in,
Was it a bond fair too?
what's that?
Was it a bond fair convenience store?
Oh, was that Stewart's?
Well, we consumed bond fare. You know, so we took 100 and some odd stores and converted them
Oh,
to Stewart.
back in the 90s?
Yeah, pre-me, but yes.
The only thing I have is the.
Actually, the
Mhm.
building, they got a demolition permit for the building in 2000.
Right, so I suspect it was an existing pad site. I guess they demoed the building that was on that pad that they had the variance from,
So they
maybe, and then built on that pad. Or use that variance, or the code enforcement officer said in 2000, you have the variance already for building those there-ish, let's just build there-ish.
Yeah, all I have is 2/18/1988 area variance to build a canopy, 32 Gouverneur Street.
Okay. So,
That's,
and
other than that, I'd have to pull the actual records and they're locked in the clerk's
And here's
office.
the original building permit for the Stewart shop in 2000.
so, all right, there may be a variance, but we know the building is within 1 foot of the property line. Okay,
All right.
yeah,
That we
yeah,
know.
good, okay. Now, is the variance requested substantial?
It's,
It's zoning board of appeals. No questions are straightforward.
well, on the surface, yes, but they already got a variance to already be 1 foot from the line. So, I don't know,
Is that precedent setting? Yeah.
how does that ship sailed?
Right, yeah. Um,
I mean, in the context of this property, it doesn't seem substantial. In the context of other properties that may not have similar issues, then it could be.
thoughts on substantiality? Okay. How about 4? Would the variance have an adverse impact on the physical and environmental conditions in the neighborhood? The existing building has 1 foot setback from the rear yard. That was the applicant's thoughts on physical or environmental conditions in the neighborhood or district. Physical, I'd say no.
No.
Environmental? Okay. What's gonna be an environment? Noise, right?
Yeah,
Okay. Noise, we talked about.
yeah.
Lights. No new exterior lights for structure, correct?
None proposed, no.
Okay. Drainage. Water.
Okay.
It's a hardscaped already. It's hardscaped. It shouldn't change the drainage there. All it has is gutter systems and runoff to be managed, right?
What's the roof system gonna be for, it to be a flat roof,
It'd be an EPDM roof, yeah, rubber.
0 pitch or,
No, it's got a, like a 112,
okay.
so we can gutter it and downspout it and direct the You know, I don't know if I can get it into a gutter drain, which is probably on the corner of the building. You know,
Right there.
so
Not
where
here,
is it?
it's right, like right here.
That's where there's a gutter drain?
Yeah.
Oh, I don't know if that's an actual,
Well, maybe it's not gutter drain. It's
there's a, yeah, I know it is.
you know, what I'm talking about.
Yeah, no, that's, I mean, I certainly could run it to that though.
Yeah, you could.
Yeah,
I-
definitely.
I mean, the rest of the
There-
roof is probably running there already.
Well, I guess it's catching it. So, yeah, I mean, we could utilize that. But usually like on the other side, there'll be a 4-inch pipe coming out of the ground.
Oh,
And
okay.
we'll pipe it right into
Yeah.
there.
Oh, okay, yeah.
like storm sewer.
That's better.
But that's certainly accessible.
Yeah.
You know, we could pitch it that side and dump it right into
Yeah,
that.
right, yeah. So,
And when we put heat tape in it, so it doesn't freeze and, you know, thaw, whatnot.
Yep. Noise. Lights. Runoff. Sight lines to the back. Noise is taken care of. I don't think noise would be anything, right?
No,
Lights. Nothing. I don't think we have to have any lights in that area per se that would change.
Safety purposes.
We do have, there are the steel columns back there. I don't know who had steel columns installed. Those have to be safety columns for not drive into the antenna.
That's us, we do that.
Yeah. Okay. So you don't drive into the antenna. Good plan.
don't drive in me.
Yeah.
Please.
Yeah. Um,
I'll have to get through a freezer if hypothetically.
well, that's the thing. I mean, the steel columns go away, then you're free, like, but I was wondering about like, do you need to light the exterior? I don't think, I mean.
Yeah, I'm not saying, I wanna just talk about lights quick, but wherever the condensing unit ends up on one side or the other.
Yeah.
I may have to put a switch light in case my maintenance guys have to work on it at night. We like to.
Yeah.
Give them, you know, visibility, but it doesn't have to be a 24/7 light,
It's not a safety light.
you know, some type of accessible light just for them though.
Okay.
No, the thing is basically, when you install it, you're install it which in the way that makes the most sense for safety and maintenance and all those things, right?
Correct.
And we understand that. And our focus is basically is the setback and understanding what you'd be doing, so we know, like, basically how things impact the environment, sure. So, just, you know, and we talk through things. All right, noise, light, water. We have. Yeah. I would say we probably want some clear management of water coming off that if we are gonna do that, because we don't wanna run anything into the backyard.
Mhm.
To flood out any neighbors or anything like that, so we'd have to do either some sort of gutter system into that existing one or something else, right?
Sure.
Um,
I mean, if during excavation, we can tie into it, but I don't think I can, because I'd have to go through that existing shed. But if it is accessible, we'll direct. We'll put the gutter directly into it instead of let it roll on the ground into that existing one.
yeah, I figured.
But that's worst case scenario.
You guys would figure something out there. Basically, the key thing is making sure we figure something out, right?
Mhm.
That's kind of what I would think. Okay. All right. Okay. All right, this is always the fun one. Because this one's tough. The alleged difficulty is not self-created. Or the alleged difficulty is self-created. Basically, the argument from the applicant was the other options for additional require variance. There's already an area variance for the northwest corner of the building. But we can confirm or deny presence of that variance for that location, but we can accept the fact that there's a variance probably for that space.
Mhm.
We're okay with that. At least I'm okay with it. All right, so self-creation. What do you guys think?
you said earlier that the existing, I think you mentioned, if I heard correctly, that agriculture and markets are having issues over mold created by the condensation, and that's a health hazard, and then also condensation on the floor is a
Trip hazard.
Trip hazard. So in essence, you're trying to address those, and I don't know if.
That's part of, that is part of the reasoning of this, yeah. We couldn't remedy it the way it sits. Somebody down the line spray foamed inside of it. And, not this winter, last winter I came up, actually last spring I came up, and in between the two, there's a 2-inch airspace. It was solid ice all the way to the rafters, because the condensation froze in there through the winter, and it just self-insulated, it never went away.
Mhm.
So I opened it up and then the water drained out, but now it's just a continuous condensation run now.
And has that entity, do they, if you don't fix it, you're gonna get fined or how?
Yes, I mean, potential to close this, the shop down if it's not, if when they come, cause they come unannounced, just like Department of Health.
Yeah.
They just show up, and if they come and it's, mold, or, and it's mold is by food, or, there's violations or,
Right.
shut the shop down.
So you're obviously with this proposal addressing that situation.
Yeah, we tried to fix it, in other means, but it didn't work.
Mhm. Okay.
So this is really fixing, one, a bigger freezer, two, a bigger cooler, and then, safety.
Mhm.
Safety and health issues.
Could you put, weep holes or anything in the wall? No, what to do with brick? For those that are draining out.
Well, no, cause they're cooler and freezers, we don't wanna drill through them, but, it's 8 feet tall, 16 feet long, and that's just it's a sandwich, there's no way, so it just pools out into the back room is where the water runs. Cause it butts up to the back of the shop, so water comes out into the back room area.
Um. I think that the motivation behind the project is clear. I think the degradation or the aging of the interior space is not, it needs some sort of renovation or management of the two cooling units we have inside.
Mhm.
And I think that the applicant, my perspective, has made it clear in terms of the motivation to move forward in terms of meeting today's market, making sure we have the frozen stock and the cooling stock on hand to meet the clientele, to be flexible in terms of where the sales points are for a steward shop of this size. Basically, so that there's there's the economic push for commercial business. There's a units which need renovation and maintenance in some ways, and the best solution the solution they're proposing is putting the freezer on the exterior to meet that economic push and that renovation push. That fair?
The most growth we can get out of that size store.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly. I mean, that's a goal, right? It's a commercial industry.
Mhm.
Okay, sweet. Okay. What do you guys think about self-creation?
Again, I'll go back to 2000, and if we were sitting here, with a site plan.
Mhm.
Yeah, requiring a foot setback, I think that would have been the time to say it was, you bought the property, you figured out, now you're trying to configure the building. Obviously, the people that were sitting in this room or wherever at that time just said, given everything else, it's not self-creating.
Mhm.
At the time, they could have, but they didn't.
They could, right, they could have. Okay. I agree that I don't think that the need for a setback is self-created. I think the need for a setback is pretty clear. I think based on the economic push in terms of like what's going on in the building. I'm not sure that a 49-foot setback is fully there, but I would argue that there's a different feasible solution that I'd like to be explored before. And, you know, I told him, like, you know, whole malarkey, which is fine. But I don't know, I like self-create stuff. So. Okay. All right. So,
If, and again, if economics is driving this too, in terms of the size of freezer you need. But, you know, unless you cut it in half, which is probably.
and it's in smaller than the interior, so it doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's,
I think I'm still being stubborn
yeah,
on the turning 90 degrees. Okay. And the reason why I'm being stubborn on that is that one of those HVAC units is already being moved 4 feet or 3 feet or whatever the dimension is a little bit down. And so I would be curious to see if it could move a little further down.
It'll go into the, where the existing freezer is, which will now be cooler.
It's the existing.
So if it goes too far, it'll be inside of what we're gonna make
So it depends on where that is,
additional cooler.
where that, okay,
So
so
we're limited on both ends. One can only slide so many.
Yeah.
This way and the other one can barely slide the other way.
so where's the location of the interior cooler and freezer now?
approximate on,
Let me see if I can pull up,
Is that what you're saying is that's why you've had to put it there because.
I went outside, it didn't.
yeah, you can't see it on the inside,
Right.
like, you know, at the end of Stewart's, that right-hand corner is where the freezer is now.
Yeah.
So it comes out,
Right,
but I should be able to pull up, as long as I have,
so you've pushed it down, look at this to the left
There might be some,
because of the interior, old cooler and. freezer.
so yeah, so it's saying basically you can't go
Yeah.
any further this way because of the interior
Yeah,
freezer, and this one can't move any further because of the gas pumps, basically.
right.
that's,
So that distance between those two units.
We don't know what that exact distance is.
so here's a good drawing. You know, that's showing the proposed, so there's the existing freezer area, okay, and that's already showing it moved. So I might be able to move it a foot that way. And then I go this way, there's all that electric. And then here's my door, and then this is all my gas conduits here. So that'll limit that.
You might have lit,
Yeah,
You want,
is this up to date?
I mean, it depicts,
it's pretty good.
it depicts where the freezer is in that right corner,
This guy,
and that guy's already moving.
There you go, another one.
so where's your, no, cause that, it doesn't have the proposed, addition on here, Tim.
What? Oh, it doesn't have the proposed addition, but it shows you where the freezer space is.
Yeah.
right?
This is the freezers, right?
Mhm.
So this guy can only move to
You got a restroom
Yeah.
and then everything.
here.
This
This
is,
guy,
this is freezer,
No,
look at back here.
so H, yeah,
Yeah, the back right corner
And
is,
then this is all cooler where all like the drinks.
yes, yeah.
and that SHV is the pumps. Or is that, that was a shelf, so the
And-
pumps are right after that.
And I'll just show you this.
Yeah.
If you see that, this is the movement of that HVAC, but at any more of an angle, and then I restrict my airflow, so I can't. It's gotta come out where it's gotta come out because of the coolers here, so it's gotta come out here, but if I put it here, it's gonna restrict my flow being more than 45 degrees.
Mhm.
I gotta,
Yeah, so, you see, yeah. So it comes in here, it starts changing the flow, you can't get through there. And it can't go behind the coolers, right, Steve? You can't sit back here, this guy?
no, I can't go through the cooler, this is what I'm showing, that's that already being moved with that angle,
Mhm.
that's that barred unit.
Just for-
Yeah, that's already slid over, but if I go any more, it'll be more than a 45 degree.
You've ruled out the option on the north side of the building. For the reasons we talked about earlier.
Over here?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think we have the gas lines coming in. There's gas,
And electric,
gas and electric panels are over here, bigger move.
Yeah.
It's also like, to be honest, it's right through your cooler,
Yeah,
the back of your cooler. So this, the better location is off the
Yeah,
back.
we talked about deliveries coming in.
Yeah, and the staff walking that way. The partners, that's the word used, partners. You know, wasn't my standard word for that.
Okay.
Yeah, it's good partners, partners or associates,
partners.
partners.
Yeah, we're working to be 100% employee-owned company, but
I said, great
that's
announcement.
awesome.
I'll be long gone by then.
Is it that long a buyout?
It's gonna take 20-year
Is
buyout.
it 20?
Yeah, I mean, it's a $1 billion buyout, I think. My last
It's
name,
like that.
I keep close tabs on it.
I got the wrong last name. It should have been a Dake somehow.
Yeah,
I know why you were smiling.
We keep very close tabs on that buyout.
Wait, are you family?
I work at St. Lawrence
Oh,
in the advancement office.
oh, okay, Gary was.
Gary's a
yeah.
good donor.
Yeah,
yeah.
for sure.
He's been really super
Yeah.
helpful. So
Gary was,
buy all my gas and ice cream and milk at Stewart's.
yeah,
Trust me.
no, Gary, him and I got connected because of my daughter. That,
Yeah,
you know,
sure.
he kept tabs on her and stuff while she was here.
Did a nice job.
We always joke in the office, but the descendants, you know, the old man's still in the office. He just turned 90.
Works.
Gary's father works every day.
Yeah.
But, you know, they own a percentage and then like Gary's age, they own and then their kids and it, you know, it keeps flip flopping down, but. You know, some of these people never even saw Stewart's. They live in Colorado and they just get a check, you know, mailed to them every
Okay.
year for, I'll just use a number, $10 million.
Yeah.
So every year you got $10 million. What's your buyout? That's what I wanna know.
Yeah.
Like, what's your final number to say, okay, I can
Yeah.
get $10 million every year for the rest of my life? Or what, 100 million now? I mean, it's not 20 million,
No.
you know what I mean? So yeah, it's a 20-year buyout. We just paused though. We were gonna start paying them last year and then we bought another 50-store chain in Vermont. So now we picked up 50 stores in Vermont.
Which one was that? Which? chain?
Jolly,
Okay.
pick up Jolly.
yeah, we picked up the Jollies, so
Yeah,
now we have 410 stores.
Is it 410?
wow.
That's a lot.
So they'll always be on the routes where I travel.
Yeah, no kidding. Yeah, in Vermont a lot, so in fact, I come off the ferry and stop at that Jolly.
Look
all
at
the
that Jolly's
time.
right there, yeah. So. Come back together.
Yeah.
All right. So we have 4 things, right? 5 things. If I go back through them, basically, whether undesirable change will be produced in the character of the neighborhood. I think we were pretty solidly unknown now. That was pretty easy for us to say in general.
Yep.
When the benefits sought by the applicant can be achieved by a feasible alternative to the variance. I don't know where I am. I'm on the phone. Shocking. I think we talked through that one now.
Yeah,
Whether the requested variance was substantial. Your feeling on that one?
again, that's saying.
I mean, I think Caitlin summarized it by saying on the property, no, but in general, yes.
Yeah,
That's kind of how Caitlin summarized it.
yeah,
So I would say, I would lean towards a no on that one, just because of the property location or space.
mhm,
But, the variance have an adverse impact physical environmental conditions in the neighborhood. I think that any environmental conditions could be minimized by basically being clear about drainage,
Right.
lighting, the things we just talked about,
yeah,
right? Nothing that's, so I would, I mean,
Could put conditional pieces
Yeah.
in.
Yeah.
If you wanted to. Yeah.
yeah.
critical drainage.
Yeah, we can propose in the drawings what we intend to do.
Right.
And it just so I'm clear, we talking about drainage of the unit itself, the additional unit.
Yeah, because it'll, that roof's gonna capture water as a, although it captured it in its footprint underneath it, but we'll direct that water somewhere.
Right, so it's an intentional drainage, it looks the hardscape. Whether the alleged difficulty was self-created. I don't think that they bought a property that was, couldn't handle it. I think that times change. I feel like, well, we didn't change zoning laws on them, right?
Right.
We actually, the zoning laws are the same, so we didn't create that. The village did not create that problem. Did they create the problem by wanting to build more? Pretty much. But it's also an economic push for commercial property to have product that they want to sell.
Mhm.
So where do you guys fall on that one?
No,
All right, Steve is no. So we're on the fence on that one, yeah, fence on the feasible alternative. Mostly I'm on the fence and feasible alternative. I don't know if you guys are or not. All right, the benefit to the applicant is they could expand their building, they could renovate their building, they could no longer have to deal with condensation issues. They can have more product, they can move more ice cream. The detriment to the neighborhood would be the proposed site, basically, it would create slightly more drainage. It might be slightly noisier, but probably not because we modern compressors and condensers. Less noisy. It would create a dead zone that's surrounded by four sides by walkways only in the back corner for mowing, for etc. That's a reality. It's basically it is a dead corner out of line of sight of anything, which backs up to a chain link fence, which backs up to a law lane, which is a apartment.
Mhm.
What else to do the neighborhood? What else does that addition do to that area? I mean, it doesn't change that back corner much other than creating a completely hidden area that's inaccessible by any mechanized item or even a dolly. Right. But it creates more ice cream and better sales and creates an environment that is moving forward for an economic development of a commercial property that is located in our village.
Mhm.
But it exceeds the setbacks written into our code, which is 50 feet. However, every single part of that building, basically, I think we have to go to the
Except for
front
the
corner.
front.
Yeah, no kidding. Maybe the front corner of the building is 50 feet, but everything else is like inside 50 feet. Yeah, pretty much. Because that's 1 foot, that's like 50 feet out here. So, right there. Everything else inside 50 feet. Maybe not that much, maybe it's on there. ZBAs are fun.
is it?
Yeah, right? Every applicant comes in wanting something, they feel they're reasonable, and then the board looks at the minutia of it. That's what we do. We have had some exciting ones. Caitlin keeps on wanting more exciting ones.
I started on the board with a very exciting, controversial application
And it was sucked.
and it just sucked me right in and I was like, all right, I live for this now.
Yeah.
And then, you know what, I just have to say, at least we're not doing signs.
That's it, we talk about science.
That's
We
true.
took a break from signs, so this is good.
This
This
is
is fine.
area variance better than signs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We've had 8 meetings in a row talking about EMCs.
Painful.
It was awesome.
We have some communities, Saratoga, Clifton Park,
They have their own sign laws.
oh,
So do we.
unbelievable just to get a sign.
Yeah, yeah,
I mean, it was, you know, I'm not saying we get them.
no,
It's just
no,
it's, you know,
they're hard. I mean, like sign laws are, I mean, they're tough.
yeah.
And when they start getting if they're enforced, they're tough. Hand painted, I hear. 3 shades of green.
Yeah.
Should see our sign laws. All right,
And this isn't the one where they don't have to pass every.
no, they don't have to pass everything. You just have to like, this is like, if it was a use variance, you'd be like, you know, they fail one, like, peace out.
Mhm.
Yeah, an area variance, it's like, you can fail one, we just like, well. Game on. Okay,
We just force them to listen to our.
basically, we force them to listen to our discussion. We have turned them down before. So. All right. So I'm hearing a lot of like on the fence, and Conrad has to check a box when he fills out the paperwork on 1 verse 2 and 5, which is feasible and self-created. Unless you guys have feeling one way or the other on both of those. Okay. All right, so here we are. Okay, there's our 5 factors, right? And the question is like, do we have any other questions about like the benefit and what we're looking at here? Do you guys feel like, do you want to? All right, so here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna talk about whether it does outweigh the detriment, like does or does not, right? Okay, and we can pass it, and then we can talk about this is the size variance we want to go if we want to put conditions on it, if we decide to pass it. Okay, so we'll start by the pass or no pass thing, and then we'll go condition or no conditions, and then we'll drive over to county office building, hold the meeting again.
I think we're going up ice cream.
I thought we go to Stewart's.
But yeah, I think only the passes, right?
Like a baseball game.
Alright.
If you win, you get ice cream.
Listen, I really like that limited edition brownie something or other.
Brownie points.
Yes,
Oh,
I gotta try that one.
yes.
salted caramel cheesecake is my favorite.
So
So good.
And the new stores
We
location.
need to
50.
vote.
Yeah.
You're swaying.
Okay, let's go so that we can go, guys. What time does Stewart's close?
Right. All right, so what do you guys think? That basically does or does not outweigh the detriment to the neighborhood? So does outweigh the detriment to the neighborhood, then you pass it, basically. You allow the variance with conditions. We're gonna say assume with conditions, and we'll talk about any conditions we have. Okay, so pass with or deny. And the other thing is too, is if you really want to be like, well, I want to talk about conditions first and then pass with conditions, that's fine with me too. What do you guys want to do? You want to vote right away? You want to talk about conditions first and then decide?
Yeah, I think we can vote. And then do conditions.
Okay, so, all right. All right. All right, so 149-foot freezer addition in the back of Stewart's. So it's a 49-foot area variance for the proposed green structure on that site plan, which looks like it does overlap that shed, but sorry, overhang by several feet as well. Okay. All right. Okay. This is anything. Do you want to vote first, Kate?
No.
Okay. Kate, do you want to vote first?
Sure,
Okay.
I vote in favor.
Okay.
I will in favor.
Um. I say no. I don't feel like it's a variance situation. Okay. Do you want to vote? No. Okay,
He's probably, yeah.
I can't, you can't.
Really, I don't have,
Yeah,
yeah, I don't think I
great.
can at the moment.
Right. So there we
If I
are.
want to,
All right, great. Now,
legally, right?
yeah, now you're out. All right, so. 2 ayes, 1 nay. Conditions. Any conditions?
Just, we already talked about the drainage.
Mhm, drainage.
Moving somewhere else?
Yeah.
Drainage. No fixed lighting, basically just lighting used for maintenance or safety stuff, right?
Yep. What's this? Is it like a silver block sticking out the back?
No, it's an almond or a beige
Okay,
colored box.
okay, but the cooler, the freezer sits in,
Yeah, yeah, and I mean, what you see from the outside is just an aluminum skinned,
right?
like, we call it almond, but it's a beige or almond
Yeah,
color. It's like the same color as the siding that's on that
On
building.
the building, okay.
Yeah, very similar.
Yep.
And then the roof would be white, but you would only see what rolls down the edge about 4 inches.
It has to have an EMC on
You're lucky. Site,
Flavor of the day?
it. Yes.
probably rooftop sign too.
Killing me.
No. Condensing unit, do you guys have a preference on location on the condensing unit? Steve mentioned he could put it back, he originally was thinking back behind, but he also said he could put it out in front where it's like there or on the roof. Do you have a preference or is that like?
I would say not on the roof, just for
Site reasons.
site reasons
Yeah.
and ease of maintenance.
Yeah, okay. So we don't really have a preference then. Doesn't sound like to me.
No.
We trust you.
There you go.
Steve, do you own that fence, the chain link fence, or is that owned by
I think it's the housing.
Housing authority,
the housing authority? owns it?
probably, yeah. Yeah, cause it continues past through.
And it goes around, all the way around their property.
Yeah, yeah.
All right, so. No other conditions? Do we need any, I mean, we'll assume that stewards will work with Verizon to make sure that they don't need some sort of, that they're okay with the 1 foot clearance access to their antenna? But as you said, you've seen, haven't seen anything else on leases. That's, I
We
mean,
can reach out to them.
that's my one concern, basically. So if they say we have to have a truck access, I don't want you to be like.
Yeah, everything they can do can come off that opposite corner.
This guy,
Yeah, they can come around there
Yeah.
for equipment.
it's not, I mean, yeah,
What was the condition? Did you have any?
it's not, I think it's a request that Steve looks into it, not necessarily our official condition. I don't want to get in a situation where Verizon comes back to Stewart's and says, you know, part of our leasing agreement, or we need truck access to our antennas. Like
So that could be the one condition.
a
There's 2
verification,
other conditions as well.
What was the other one?
drainage
Or drainage?
and no fixed lighting.
I'm sure Chuck Marshall is fully aware. He makes all those contracts and Chuck is our,
Yeah, let's just
yeah,
dot that I plus.
I'm sure he's, knows that if he was, hindering Verizon in any way, he would know their agreement.
Yeah.
But we'll still follow up with it.
Yeah, I don't think it shouldn't be a big deal, but it's like, let's make sure that we're not, doing it from there. I think from our side, from the village's side, it doesn't really impact me. But that's a key thing. Okay. Well, any other conditions, anything else we're concerned about? The drainage in the back corner, we're fine with, whatever it is, it is. I mean, so we have about 12 square feet of grass back there. We look forward to their maintenance of that 12 square feet of grass. Whatever. No one's ever gonna see it.
Scissors.
No one's ever gonna see that. Do we,
Pollinator garden.
So many apartments, I think, look out the back window and see it.
yeah, so are we at all concerned about safety, knowing the village the way you know the village? The foot traffic in this area is investigative. are we concerned about the foot traffic heading back into an area that's completely out of sight?
We're probably more concerned than you are.
Yeah, that's what I, like,
But I'm, I mean, our maintenance team is there regularly, I mean, between maintenance and shop care. And, they would be aware of potential campers.
because that's not, I mean, there's no line of sight from here.
Oh, it's a great
From
spot.
here,
Do you have security cam? They can put back there?
Oh,
You
I
do
would-
have security cams and
yeah, we have them, and would we put one back there? I probably would say we probably wouldn't, but,
I'm gonna write this into our decision that we're concerned about the line at sign of light, if I could put that up there. The sight line, but that area, I'm not gonna put a condition on there, but basically make sure that we are all aware of, like, basically that this is. It's a very investigative area.
or we could also, we could also block it off from that accessible corner, but not that they
No.
can't hop a fence.
Yeah, I think that the topping the fence, like, I don't want anything blocked off, cause I want to be able to get that HVAC if someone has to come through here for any sort of safety reasons. I'd rather have that walkway, that accessibility. But I just like to say basically, like, make sure we're all aware of it. That's all. Just like, let's be intentional in our planning.
I just don't think we would put a camera that would take away from the gas pumps or the store.
No.
One
with you.
one screen that
No.
would be back there.
No, but if your partners are aware that basically there's an area of concern, if they see, like, it's, cause
Maybe
there
patrol
is no
something.
line of sight.
a motion detector.
With a fixed light. I don't know how to handle that, actually. I don't know. So maybe I won't put it in there. What do you
Go
guys
and
think?
check it every so often, make sure
But
there's.
I don't wanna create work for someone.
Yeah.
Like, should I just leave it out, guys?
No,
No,
I think it's smart to put it in, just
Yeah.
that it's a concern of ours
I think it's a concern.
and just to
and
be
let them,
aware, yeah.
I mean, it's more of an issue for stewards than it is for us, but.
It is.
But I share your concern.
yeah.
I don't know the neighborhood well, but I can imagine there are, particularly with the apartment complex there, that there are people wandering about and.
Yeah.
It puts them at rest too.
I coach enough high school kids that they find spaces. Yes,
It seems scarred.
no, most of the kids I coach. are good. Got what?
Who's gonna tell that? Who's gonna tell the coach that?
And no one tells their coach about anything. You just hear about it. It's a real maintenance and not silent law, so. Okay, it's not a condition, I'll put it in there as we discussed.
Yeah.
And that was
Concern was expressed.
by me.
No, I think we're in agreement.
Yeah, so, all right, anything else, guys?
What's the equipment that goes with the Verizon antennas that's in that box? What do you call that?
Antennas.
I mean, it's a power source.
Okay, good enough.
Verizon Tower Source, so, do we have any concerns about access for fire back there?
That was actually one of the reasons I asked about owning the fence, but I assume if a fire truck had to come in the back entrance, they would just,
drive over it.
they would just cut the fence.
Cut the
open
fence.
If they had to.
Yeah.
If there's a fire on the back of the building they couldn't access, they
It's
would.
not like there's a structure there.
No, so they have plenty of space there. They solve that problem pretty fast.
I would have guessed they would,
They're dealing with fire stewards
Yeah.
with the gas tanks, they would solve that problem pretty fast.
Yeah.
so.
Okay, good. All right, cool.
They're less worried about it than we are, basically.
Yeah,
I took-
pretty much.
I took a picture of Law Lane, sort of
Yeah.
going the other way with that first question in mind.
Yeah.
It looks like they could, if they had to,
Oh, yeah, coming that way?
come in the backside
Oh, yeah.
and drive right across the
Oh.
grass,
That's true.
right through that fence.
All right, awesome. All right, anything else, guys? All right, do I need a motion to close the meeting? Motion to close the meeting?
I'm okay.
Second.
What stewards are we meeting at first?
Second, that Pete.
Adjourned at 8:39.
Do we have anything coming up?
We have nothing on our calendar. No one else put an application in right now. We're good for now. 5 days. Till written decision.
Okay.
Passed. And basically, you heard our conditions.
Sure. Appreciate everybody's time tonight. Now I got a 3-hour ride home.
Sorry. Where are you?
I'm on the thruway in Herkimer County,
Oh, you are down there? Yeah,
Little Falls.
all right.
I knew we can get a good cup of coffee on the way if you want.
Yeah, right.
And I don't drink coffee.
Oh, you don't?
Me neither. Nice to meet someone else who
Yeah,
doesn't.
I haven't had a cup yet. I'll tell you a quick story. When I worked construction my whole life.
I realize.
I got a job in heavy highway construction with some older friends of mine, and they picked me up one day and they bought me a coffee about this damn big.
Yeah,
And I didn't wanna insult them by not drinking it, so I just kept putting it up to my lips. I was almost gonna throw up, it was so bad. When I opened the door, I just
Dumped it.
dumped it,
Oh,
put the
I do
lid
want
back
that.
on and carried it for another hour.